नमस्कार दोस्तों। जैसे कि हम जानते हैं कि पिछले साल हमारे संसद ने आपराधिक न्याय प्रणाली में सुधार की दृष्टि से, दैट इज इन ऑर्डर टू इम्प्रूव एंड रिफॉर्म आवर क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम, पार्लियामेंट में 3 बड़े कानून पारित किए गए थे। दिस की रेगुलेशंस नेमली भारतीय न्याय संहिता, भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता और भारतीय साक्ष्य अधिनियम आर मेंट टू रिप्लेस द ब्रिटिश era criminal justice system represented Indian Penal Code IPC 1860, Criminal Procedure Code CRPC and Indian Evidence Act 1872. As per government notifications, these 3 key legislations have come into force from 1st July 24. यानी कि IPC, CRPC और Evidence Act अब समाप्त हो चुके हैं. These British era legislations are no longer applicable for any criminal offence committed after 1st July 24. Now the question is, how does this big change affect common man, the law enforcement agencies and the practitioners of law? For that matter, is there any big change? क्या कोई बड़ा बदलाव है या as people say, old wine in new bottle? केवल टाइटल हिंदी में किया गया है, rest everything is same. So let us look at the truth of the matter with respect to these new laws. Now, it is not possible to talk about these 3 big legislations in one session. So today I am going to talk only about Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita BNS 23, which is going to replace Indian Penal Code 1860. Indian Penal Code was drafted way back in 1830s by the first law commission headed by Thomas Macaulay. It was enacted only 25 years later in 1860 in the backdrop of 1857 revolt and transfer of power from East India Company to British Crown. Therefore, it must be noted that the motive and urgency behind enacting IPC in 1860 primarily was to preserve and sustain British Empire. Well, after independence, we continued with this colonial era legislation, though over 75 years there have been numerous amendments to it. Now, too many patchwork amendments certainly called for a comprehensive review. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita BNS has been drafted, making threefold changes to IPC. There is deletion of about 20 offences from IPC. There is addition of 17 new offences. Then there is enhanced set of punishment. There is introduction of new punishment. Several sections of IPC have been revised, reworded and merged to bring down the total number of sections from 511 to 358 in BNS. In the process, there is resequencing and renumbering of the sections with respect to offences, creating a bit of challenge. For example, cheating 400 BC is no longer section 420, or punishment for murder Dafa 302 is now section 103 of BNS. Now one would say, how does it matter? क्या फर्क पड़ता है अगर किसी को फांसी लग रही है तो सेक्शन 302 है और 103 है? Well, it matters. It matters for the practitioners of law, for the police and the enforcement agencies. Because for them who have these offences and sections on their fingertips, they will have to unlearn all that and relearn the new sections and corresponding offences. Well, now let us come to the main content and significant changes of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita BNS 23. After years of discussion, deliberation and challenges, Supreme Court of India declared that 2 sections of IPC, section 377 unnatural offences and section 497 adultery as unconstitutional. Consequently, these 2 sections have been omitted from the new code. Now, adultery law was struck down by Supreme Court for being discriminatory. Therefore, though adultery is no longer a criminal offence under the new code, it remains a moral wrong, a civil wrong and a ground for divorce. Now let us come to sedition law, section 124A of IPC. Sedition law under IPC criminalized speech and conduct deemed to be a threat to the authority of the government, that is, showing disaffection towards government. During British time, this law was used to suppress political dissent, and as we know, Tilak and Gandhi were tried and sentenced to prison term under this law. After independence, this law remained operative in India until 2022, when Supreme Court of India put it on a temporary hold. Sedition law is gone for the good as it does not find place under the new code BNS. Well, some people look at section 152 of the new code with suspicion, saying that sedition law has been brought back in the new code under different name. Now, section 152 of BNS deals with acts endangering sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Obviously, this is offence against state. There is no mention whatsoever about showing disaffection towards government. इस कानून के अंतर्गत सरकार के खिलाफ कुछ भी बोलने पर, कोई भी टीका टिप्पणी करने पर कोई रोक नहीं है। लेकिन अगर कोई कहेगा कि कश्मीर भारत का हिस्सा नहीं है या बात भारत के टुकड़े करने की होगी तो फिर जेल जाना पड़ेगा। इट इज़ नॉट अबाउट डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव, ये मानसिकता की बात है। जस्ट थिंक अबाउट और लुक एट द लैंग्वेज ऑफ सेक्शन 18 ऑफ IPC. Section of 18 of IPC defines India. It says that India means territory of India excluding the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, even if this section was introduced in IPC in the context of special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370, it is one thing to say that so-and-so law is not applicable to so-and-so state. It is another thing to say that so-and-so state is not part of India. So, rightly so, Section 18 of IPC has been deleted from BNS. Now, let us talk about the offence of attempt to commit suicide, Section 309 of IPC. Section 309 of IPC criminalized attempt to commit suicide, attracting 1 year imprisonment. Now, consider this in the reference to the fact that on an average in India, every year, 1.6 lakhs to 2 lakh people commit suicide. All those who survive this suicide attempt obviously require help, but because their act is criminalized, they cannot seek help, they cannot even disclose what they are going through. Supreme Court of India in 2011 appealed to the legislature to consider deleting Section 309 from IPC. The attempt to commit suicide is no longer an offence under the new code, as it has been deleted from Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Well, there is a related new section in BNS, section which deals with a specific case like attempt to commit suicide to compel or restrain lawful use of authority. What it means is that someone puts up a demand to a person in position of lawful authority to do this or that, else he will commit suicide. Now, demand may be reasonable, fair and justified, but threat to commit suicide to fulfill that demand remains an offence under this new section. Now, what if someone puts up demands to the government declaring that if those demands are not met by so and so date, then he will go on fast unto death. Now, is fast unto death an attempt to commit suicide? Well, jury is out and we'll have to wait to see how this section gets interpreted. But interestingly, under this section, under new code, there is a new punishment, new kind of punishment. Community service has been introduced. Now, historically, there have been only 5 kinds of punishment: death, life imprisonment, limited duration imprisonment, RI or simple imprisonment, forfeiture of property, and fine. Community service as a new kind of punishment for petty offences is certainly a welcome development, welcome step, particularly if fast unto death gets to be interpreted as an offence under this new section. Now, let us talk about a new section in BNS, section 106, which deals with causing death by negligence and rash driving. Now, causing death by negligence and rash driving was already an offence under IPC with punishment prescribed as 2 years imprisonment, which has been increased in BNS to 5 years. However, BNS further adds a new offence to deal with hit and run situation, and it says that if a person involved in rash driving and causing death as a result of that escapes accident site, then he would be liable for a punishment up to 10 years in imprisonment. Now it may be recalled that when Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita was passed by the parliament, there was spontaneous agitation and protest by the transporters and drivers, and their grievance was that if a person involved in serious accident, if he stays there, he will be at risk of being attacked by angry mob, and therefore it was reasonable for a person to try and escape the accident site. Well, the full reading of this section reveals that escaping accident site by itself is not an offence, provided the person after escaping the site goes and reports the matter to police. Therefore, the new subsection appears to be necessary and essential to deal with hit and run cases, and there is no cause of concern for a person to escape and report to the police. Well, another new section introduced in the BNS, which deals with a new offence, is employing children to commit crime. These days we often see that children carrying sharp weapons and committing serious crimes. Now these children are hired by crime syndicates, assuring them that whatever they do, whatever crime they commit, maximum they will face is only 1 year in correction home. Now to deal with this kind of exploitation of children to commit crime, BNS has a provision now that anyone employing children for crime will be liable to face imprisonment extending to 3 to 10 years. Not just that, the child so employed, now child here means any person below 18 years of age, the child so employed by the crime syndicate or someone who wants him to commit a crime, if that child commits the crime, then whatever is the punishment for that crime which cannot be imposed on that child can be inflicted on a person who is found guilty of employing that child. Thus we can see that there are stringent provisions to deter employment of children to commit crime under BNS. So we have seen there are several positive changes, positive improvements in the criminal code, and I would like to talk about one more change which relates to possession of fake currency. Now IPC criminalized mere possession of fake currency and counterfeit currency. Now if there is a fake currency in circulation, it is possible for anyone to come in possession of that in routine cash transaction inadvertently. Now instead of treating that person as a victim, law presumed him to be an offender. Now this aspect has been corrected in the new code. Explanatory note of the new code says that a person in possession of fake currency, if he can explain the lawful source from where he has got into possession of that currency, then it is not an offence by mere possession. Well, we have seen that there are now several positive changes made in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita from IPC. As far as the negative aspects or downside of the new code is concerned, well, it fails to address the concerns expressed by Supreme Court with respect to widespread misuse of Section 498A of IPC, which is about cruelty towards women in the matrimonial home. The scale of misuse of this section had been such that Supreme Court had to issue mandatory guidelines to be complied before police can invoke this section. Now Section 85 and 86 of BNS is verbatim reproduction of 498A. After Supreme Court of India noticed this, Supreme Court appealed to the government to consider serious relook of these provisions before the code is brought into force. Unfortunately, BNS has come into force without any safeguard in this regard. Not just that, BNS introduces a new discriminatory section 69 which criminalizes consensual relationship between man and woman at the discretion of woman on the grounds such as employing deceitful means or making a false promise. Now this section 2 is liable to be misused, and it is really a bad news for men in live-in relationship. Well, IPC has been in force for 164 years and we have seen several changes to it over this time. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita has just made a beginning and we can hope to see progressive improvements and corrections so that our criminal justice system is strengthened. So that was about Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, these two codes are also equally interesting, and there are interesting changes and improvements. But we'll talk about that next. Till then, if you find there are any useful takeaways from this video, do like it, share it and subscribe it. Thank you. Jai Hind.